Welcome to our weekly Timeless Principles for Extraordinary Living with Dr. Alex. Dr. Alex believes that you were born for extraordinary exploits, to be an exhibition of divine abundance. Today's session, as all others, will inspire you to experience extraordinary living. Join Dr. Alex now.
Welcome to Timeless Principles with me, Dr. Alex. I am so excited that you have selected our channel today. I want to congratulate all those who are connecting with us week after week, coming through every Wednesday. I want to say to you, continue doing the great work. We are so appreciative of the comments that you make, liking us as you continue to do it, and sharing with others. We truly encourage you. Thank you so much. It's an honor that you are doing this with us. Well, today, I want to say to you, we're taking just one episode break from our teaching that we are dealing with the thinking being. Today we want to celebrate fathers. We want to take a moment and just celebrate fathers. We have recorded some clips from people who are saying some great messages to fathers, and we're going to be playing those clips today. So I'm excited. What does Father Days means to you? Well, I thought before we get into listening to the clips like we did when we were dealing with the Mother's Day, let's just reflect a little bit about this day called the Father's Day. I want to reflect just on three areas. Number one, we want to look at the history of Father's Day. And number two, we want to just ask the question, what's the concept behind it? What is it that people celebrate when they celebrate Father's Day? And I will just end with a very brief, absolutely brief perspective on the whole concept of fathers. Well, as you know, like everything else in life like this, it has many histories. So what I will do today, I will just briefly touch on one specific history of the modern day Father's Day, but reflect just on other two. We find in history that dating as far back as 1508, in Southern Europe, there was a tradition that was put in place to recognize the role of fathers in the family. They actually celebrated the role of fathers in the family. That's way back in 1508. And then in the United States of America, inspired by somebody called Grace Golden Clayton, on the 5th of July, 1908, they had a service that was held in honor of fathers. This particular service was inspired by the death of many, many men who had died in the worst mining accident in the United States in 1908. Well, the event was just done once it was not repeated year after year. That was the second case beside the Southern European case where there was an observation of a Father's Day. Coming then to the modern day Father's celebration, this idea of Father's Day is attributed to a lady in the United States of America called Sonora Smart Dodd. Sonora Smart Dodd. I hope I got it right. She's not Simanga or Alex, so you can't always get the names right. She is the one that's accredited with the modern day Father's Day celebration. What had actually happened, she had been raised by a single father. The single father raised them from the day their mother died in a childbirth when she was giving birth to the youngest of the family in 1898. So it was her and 5 brothers that were all raised by a single father. Come 1909, she is in a service, in a religious service, and she is listening to a sermon about mothers. It was on a Mother's Day, and the religious leader was preaching and talking about mothers and how to celebrate mothers. While she's sitting there, an idea drops to her mind and say, man, why don't we do the same for fathers? She then begins to mobilize the idea among religious people to say, man, let's celebrate fathers. She chooses the month of June to be the month to celebrate fathers because that was the month of a father's birthday. Think about it. As you celebrate the Father's Day, think about it that this was all linked with the birthday of a father, of somebody who took this idea. The local religious leader then supported that, and in 1910, June 1910 was the first celebration of the Father's Day in the United States of America, which would grow to the modern Father's Day celebration. It took a while for this day, unlike the Mother's Day, which I explained a couple of weeks ago. For the Father's Day, it took a while for it to be eventually recognized as a countrywide event. There are several reasons why it took a while. I will just touch some of them later. But it didn't just happen that in 1910 when it was celebrated and then suddenly it was accepted everywhere. A little bit of the history of then what happened in the U.S. 1916, President Woodrow Wilson and his family personally observed this day because it was so advertised so that Washington, D.C. heard about it, and President Woodrow Wilson in 1916 celebrated it. 1924, President Calvin Coolidge supported the observance of this day. You can see there's a little bit growth in Washington, D.C. for this day. Then in 1966, think about it, 1966, it's first suggested in 1909. Only in 1966, President Lyndon B. Johnson issued a proclamation recognizing this day, and in 1972, President Richard Nixon signed it into legislation designating the third Sunday of June to be observed as a national holiday, as a Father's Day. That's the history of the modern Father's Day. I argue to myself and to many people around that when you are observing something, look back and try to understand what was it all about, where did it start, how did it start. Just other histories, just that are useful here, in the Catholic tradition, and this is still practiced in Spain, Portugal, and those countries that have a strong Catholic tradition, Father's Day is observed on March the 19th, which is called the Feast of Saint Joseph. So they don't do the third week of June, which is legislated by the United States. They follow a Catholic tradition to celebrate it on the feast of St. Joseph. In Taiwan, in the Asian countries, Father's Day is celebrated on the 8th of August. They also don't follow the US legislation of Father's Day. In the East as well, in Thailand, they celebrate Father's Day on the 5th of December. In their case, it's a day of their former king, the birthday of their former king, King Bhumibol. So you can see that there is that sense of celebrating Father's Day. In the other countries, they do it on their own day. But Africa, as usual, has not truly conceptualized the day except just to follow America. So we have somehow not taken time to say, do we actually need to celebrate fathers? If we need to, how do we link this with who we are? How do we link this with our traditions, with our culture? We simply just celebrate Father's Day and following the Americans. I wonder if some of us as Africans could pause at some time and say, do we really need to celebrate fathers? And if we do, what does it speak to us? And when should be the best day to do it? I want to just highlight an interesting part, which is usually called in literature the controversy of Father's Day in America. Initially, this day didn't just fly. Many fathers didn't just accept. In fact, many fathers rejected the idea. Think about it. They rejected the idea of having a day to celebrate fathers. The reason, it's several, but one of them is that it was proposed, initiated, linked to Mother's Day. So a number of fathers resisted the idea, calling it, you are trying to domesticate manhood. In their view, you're not allowed to domesticate manhood with flowers, as it was done on Father's Day. So they were imagining a day where flowers would be brought for men, and they say, man, we can't deal with this. So that's why it was resisted, and it was taking quite a long time. They also had an issue with the commercial side of the Father's Day, arguing that the commercial side, you'll remember, this is beginning of the last century. In a home, the man is the breadwinner, is the one who goes to work. So they were saying, you're going to buy us gifts with the very money that we give you. So is this really a celebration of men, or is just domestication of manhood? We're talking about here a century where fatherhood was regarded from a patriarchal perspective. So any attempt to domesticate it was seen as being silly. But hey, with women leading this and pushing for it, the day eventually got to be recognized, as we've explained, when President Nixon signed it into legislation. Let's think now. What's the concept behind this day? I have just pulled a few things from literature, what people do, what it is that they think is to celebrate this day. Number one, people celebrate the Father's Day to honor the role of fathers in the family. Honoring the role of fathers in the family. Number two, people celebrate the Father's Day as a day to allow an intimate relationship between fathers and their children. I mean, many fathers will ask Dr. Alex, what does that mean? Intimate relationship between fathers and their children. Well, that's what the celebration is about. Thirdly, people push for this day to be celebrated to impress on fathers the full measure of their fatherhood. In other words, to say you are a father, there is a fatherhood obligation. When we celebrate this day, we're actually impressing on fathers the fatherhood obligation. Fourthly, people celebrate this day really to celebrate what their fathers like to do. In other countries, On this day, the fathers and the kids go out. If the father likes fishing, they go out to do fishing. If the father likes sports, this is the day they go out and do sports. So it's a day where they celebrate and perform what the father liked to do. I just wonder what happened in your house on Father's Days in the past, and what will happen on Father's Day this year. I will put some pictures of brides in other Father's Days where people really go out and do what fathers like. So their fathers like a bride, so they dedicate this day for a bride. The fifth concept behind this is that people celebrate this day to appreciate the significant influence that fathers have or should have. As I've gone through this five concept behind what people do when they celebrate Father's Day, I just want to ask you, what's your concept of Father's Day? Let's say you are a father, you're celebrating your father. What exactly are you celebrating? If you send that message across, what message are you sending? What is the intent? What's the purpose of that message? If you are a child, a daughter, a son, when you celebrate Father's Day, what's the concept behind? The reason I'm doing these very short clips about days that we celebrate is to impress on us that it's not just about doing a day because others are doing it. We shouldn't get into the culture that just because one country, in this case, because America has legislated a day, we also should just follow it. Not to say we shouldn't do it, but let's reflect, let's think about, let's bring meaning, let it speak to us so that it can really be a significant day. Years ago, I started a program which I called the Fatherhood Code. I was just thinking when I knew I want to record this clip about Father's Day, and I thought, let me just say to fathers some of the base, the fundamentals that we have put in that program. At the core of the kingdom, father means a source. Father means source. The disciples come to Yeshua and they say, teach us how to pray. And he begins the lesson by saying, when you pray, pray like this and say, our Father who is in heaven. He says your prayer should begin by acknowledging the source, our source that exists in the heavenlies. Fathers have such an obligation because our King in heaven selected the title Father as a title by which we should understand him. I wonder, as a father, when you sit wherever you are and think about how your children should understand God on the basis of how you reflect God, I wonder what they say. I wonder whether they are able to go on their knees and speak to the Father in heaven and say, our source. And then they reflect and say, who here in the earthly realm reflects you, represents you? How do they? Are they really representing you in a way that gives us courage to call you our source? It's from that perspective that the prophet Malachi, in Malachi 4 verse 6, has to use these words. God speaking to him, he says, your preaching should be to turn the hearts of fathers to their children and the hearts of children to their fathers. Then he says, otherwise the land is struck with a curse. That's a very significant statement. Otherwise, in other words, if fathers are not practicing fatherhood obligations, the land is at risk. The land spoke to the economy. The land spoke to the state of the nation, the state of humanity. And the Lord here through Malachi says, turn the hearts of fathers. I would like to take that position that Malachi was given and speak to any father that's listening to me today and say we have a lost world because we have lost sons. We have lost sons because of fatherlessness. We have to break the cycle of fatherlessness. We have reasons why we didn't have fathers. Most of us, we come from an era where our fathers had to go and work in the mines under oppression. But that cycle has to end with us. As much as we struggle to become fathers because we too didn't have fathers, but we have a responsibility to fatherhood. It is my true belief that at the core of much of human suffering is fatherlessness. When we restore fatherhood, we will inspire humanity, we will inspire hope. To all fathers, just want to say to you today, listen, fathers, when you discover the pain and the pleasure you were born for, when you discover whose pain, whose pleasure was I born for, you are on your way to true satisfaction. Life will not give you true meaning as a father until it is clear to you that you don't exist for you, but you are a source. I can go on. We have that series of Fatherhood Code where I teach of these things. You are a source. Because you are a source, you were born for somebody's pleasure. You were born for somebody's pain. And who are those? So, we are celebrating fatherhood. Our code here was Masofa. Masofa. I won't go into it because this is not a teaching on fatherhood. This was just to reflect a little bit on the Father's Day and to wish all fathers a wonderful Father's Day and to say to all fathers everywhere, let this be the greatest Father's Day. Let us celebrate this day. May all fathers reflect deeply. May all the hearts of fathers be restored to their children and the hearts of children be restored to their fathers. Let's seek to return and reconnect. Happy Father's Day, and let us make every day a reconnection of the heart of the father to the heart of their children, because our destinies are not determined by chance, but by choices. We truly, truly love you, fathers. Awesome. Have a great Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I wish you very much of joy and happiness.
Happy Father's Day to all fathers out there. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you are loved, and wherever you are, I hope you are feeling happy.
Hi, my name is Maureen Dudley. I would like to say Happy Father's Day to my father, Jan Sibanyoni. I wish him a long life, and I pray that God keep him and protect him at all times for us.
Happy Father's Day, Daddy. You are the best daddy ever.
To all the fathers, I wish that you'll be present and you'll take your position. The world needs you. If you do not take your position, the world will be destroyed in front of you. All the best for the Father's Month.
Happy Father's Day, Daddy, and I love you. Thank you for being the best dad ever. Love you. Bye-bye.
I just wanted to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers, especially my father. I'd like to thank you for sticking around. I'd like to thank you for sacrificing your time and your energy to put into me growing up. Yeah, thank you, Baba. Happy Father's Day.
Good day, my name is Tabang Tlaka, the son of Edward Joseph Tlaka, and I just want to send him a beautiful message. I want to thank him for his sacrifices. I want to thank him for our story, the good, the bad, the challenging, the beautiful. I am because you model a lot. I liked how you moved in the world, and I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. May the Lord give you good health. May you continue with your wisdom, and I just want to thank you for a great life that you provided. Thank you very much.
Happy Father's Day to Dr. Alex Tsela, every father of the Kingdom Embassy.
Grace and peace be yours in abundance. Hi, my name is Malibonge Makakula, and this is my message to my father. I hope I don't forget anything. Anyway, happy Father's Day. Thank you for supporting me, not only financially, but emotionally and spiritually as well. You've taught me a lot about myself and how to go about life. I guess now I'm a young woman. And in looking for a partner, I look for someone who's like you, because you're the sweetest man I know, the sweetest man I've ever come across. And thank you for loving me with my flaws, loving me the way I am, and nurturing me so I can grow up to be, the young woman I'd like to be. So yeah, thank you. Love you, Dad. Bye.
Happy Father's Day to the fathers and all the blessings.
My name is Nobesutu, and I would like to say Happy Father's Day to my dad. I know he's now the mother and the father to all of us. I wish him long life, and may he continue to be as great as he is. Thank you.
Greetings everyone. Greetings to our Baba. I think all I just want to say now, I want to say happy Father's Day to all the men who played a big role in my life. That includes firstly Abo Malume. I grew up with Abo Malume, who were very played an important role in my life. Some of them have passed on, some of them are still alive. So thank you very much for them, for making me the person I am today. And also to the pastors, I've been going through to church almost all my whole life, and to Pastor Tembane, Pastor Temba Manana, Dr. Alex, all those guys, they contributed in shaping me, becoming the man I am today. So I just want to say thank you so much to them. May God richly bless them and continue to strengthen them. And also to some of my colleagues, I have senior colleagues who are also play a bit of mentorship in my life. Advocate Jabu Motipe is a great guy, might not come to church, but he's a very good man. So most people, he's one of the guys who provide directions and leadership in my life. So thank you so much. May they continue contributing to young people. May they continue looking after young men. And may they continue in whatever efforts and activity that God is placing them in their lives. And wishing them all the best and great life and good health. And yeah.
Happy Father's Day, Daddy.
Happy Father's Day to my father, to my dad, my hero, my one and only KG Baloi. That guy, he's just everything. He taught me lots of things, and I appreciate the love that he showed to me and my siblings, and to my mom as well. He showed us how to be loved. I love that about him. Thank you.
Ngiyanibingelela egameni lika Jesu Kristu owaseNazaretha igama nguPrincess. I want to say kubo baba happy Father's Day. Ave nibalekile empilweni zabantu, ave nibalekile kulesikhathi esiphila kuso. Sithanda ukusho ukuthi uNkulunkulu anibusise nina nabe nikhona asigcinele nina egameni lika Jesu. And then to those abanganabo abo baba, I'm a testimony ngimbonile uNkulunkulu abawubaba kimi. So I want to encourage you ukuthi umvumele ukuthi abo baba empilweni yakho. Amen.
Happy Father's Day. Hope you the best day, and thank you for being the best dad in the world. I love you so much. Thank you for everything you've done for my life. Thank you.
Grace and peace be yours in abundance. This is Troy. I'd like to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. To my dad, Mr. Daniel Ngonde, to Dr. Alex, and to all the fathers at Kingdom Embassy. Happy Father's Day. We love you. I appreciate you. May God bless and keep you. Amen.
Good afternoon, Abu Baba. I'd like to take this time as Utabiso Mokhotwa to appreciate you for the wonderful work that you are doing. I'm a man because I was raised by a man. So I would like to thank you very much. Thank you for being honest with us. Thank you for being there, for being present fathers. Because right now in society, society is affected because fathers are not present. Where there are so many absent fathers. So for those of you who are currently absent, I have a message for you. All I'm saying to you, I have an encouragement. Please be present, because once you are present, society will be definitely different. Young boys will become proper men because you are present fathers. So if you are not even a father, please take the responsibility to mentor another young man so they become real men, because your presence makes a huge difference. Society will be so different because you are present in our lives. So thank you very much. May God richly bless you in whatever sphere or area you are in your lives. May you increase and experience limitless grace and limitless breakthrough and limitless abundance in every aspect of your lives. Thank you very much. May God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you for connecting with us on Extraordinary Exploits with Dr. Alex. We value your connection. Join us every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Central African Time. And remember to invite others. Experience extraordinary living.